Welcome to my bed. I just got out of the shower, so you can barely see my hair, but it looks stringy, like borderline greasy. It's because it's wet. If my face looks super red or shiny, it's because I am very hot and sweating profusely. Because I cannot shower in normal temperatures. I can, I can, but I don't. Cause it starts to get the slightest bit cool, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta turn it up. Also, my heart is pounding because I did not sleep a lot last night. But day is okay. I don't feel tired, but my body is being weird, as it does. Anyways, I actually recorded a bunch of videos and then very promptly decided that I didn't want to watch them back just in case I needed to cut something out or I say something that doesn't make sense, because sometimes when I speak it makes sense to me and then I look back later and I'm like, what? What am I saying? Or I just say the wrong word comes out, or yeah. But basically, okay, first I have discovered that because I maybe speak 2 words a day, my throat cannot handle talking sometimes. So that makes recording this a little awkward now, because I get a weird tickle or a strain in my throat. Probably also dehydrated, so that doesn't help. I was definitely really struggling with a lot of things. I wasn't sleeping good still. I'm sleeping better now, minus last night, but that was literally my own fault. And then my cat woke me up at the normal time, but her mouth is also bothering her. She's gonna be having surgery soon. But yeah, her mouth is really bothering her and she's hungry, but she doesn't want to eat. Which isn't great, but she is eating a little bit. What else? Oh, because I switched the time I took my medicine and the amount of medicine that I take, my antidepressant, because I realized that I think that it was keeping me up at night. I would take it around 5 because you're supposed to take it with food because it can be hard on your tummy. And I already have acid reflux, so I don't know. I also just don't want ulcers or whatever. And dinner 5 p.m. It's the same thing every night. I have dinner the same time, basically the same time every night. So I was like, well, I'll just take it then, because then I know that I will eat. Because sometimes it's just I just cannot be bothered to get myself food. And then if I have anything that's too convenient, then I just eat it all, which I need to work on, but we're not quite there yet. So yeah, that was keeping me up. So I take it at noon now, and it's much easier to fall asleep now, because it was just I cannot fall asleep, because it is a slight stimulant. I think they say if it makes you sleepy, take it at night. If it makes you not sleepy, then take it in the morning. But it is a little bit of a stimulant, I believe. So yeah, and then I just had a bunch of things that were bothering me and piling up. And that's kind of like what I want to talk about today. Not necessarily the things themselves, but something that I kind of really realized within this past like week, even though I knew that it's been an issue for probably a while, if not my whole life. But basically, it is focusing on what I can control and what I can't. I know that a lot of the times when people are distressed or they're dealing with stuff, that sometimes they try to control things that they can't, or they control things in like an unhealthy kind of way. That's kind of like not like what all eating disorders stem from, but that kind of can play a factor into some of them. I'm also not a doctor, so but yeah. I was really concerned with a lot of things that like I could quote unquote do something about them, but even if I do something about them, it's ultimately up to the other person to like do it. It's like when you want someone to get help, and it's a tough thing because at the end of the day, the person has to want to get help. And if they don't want to, if they don't want to get better, then you can't force them. And I know this all too well because I think for a long time I just like, well, I thought I was unfixable. And also it's a lot of work to change a lot of things in your life. And it sucks, to be quite frank with you. Like change doesn't feel good, which I guess makes sense. And human brains are wired to not like change or things that are different in any way, even if it is better for you. The brain doesn't like that because even though our brains are really smart, they're also kind of really stupid. At least that's what I've gathered in like the nicest way possible. So I was getting like really agitated and I was really mad about a lot of things and a lot of people. And also just feeling bad about my own situation. But because I was spending so much energy on all these things outside of myself, I couldn't focus on like anything for me. So I was like, oh, I would just crochet all day. I didn't even like want to play games or like really like I didn't want to talk to people, but at the same time I didn't. I for a little bit I was like, oh, this is fine. I'll do these things and I'll be okay. But eventually it just hit like a breaking point, and that was actually kind of like earlier this week. I was really sad. Like I was actually really worried. I've been really sad before, but like this sadness was like this might be bad. And the thing about me is that I can get really sad really quickly. And it sucks, but for the most part, I don't feel that like super doom. I don't know what else to call it, but it's like it feels, I don't know, worse than what I'm used to. Like I really thought like I'm not getting out of this. I don't think I'm gonna get out of this. And then a few days go by, and I feel 100% better. Well, maybe not 100%, but a significant amount better. And I could blame it on the full moon because it basically cleared up after the full moon. I don't make the rules, I just play by them sometimes. I don't have my period. I don't think it's coming yet. I should probably check because I stopped wearing the ring that like tracks your heart rate and stuff because it was really irritating like my finger, or not irritating but like it was hurting even though it wasn't too tight or anything. It just was not feeling really great and it was pissing me off, so I had to take it off. But it does tell me kind of when to expect my period. And actually for a really long time I wasn't getting my period, but I didn't really care because periods suck. Even though if you don't get your period, that's not really a good thing. I mean, it can happen for a lot of reasons, like really like athletes that train really intensively, they often don't get periods. And another reason could be like PCOS or stress or malnutrition. It's basically like your body does not think that you can handle like having a baby, so you don't have a period. Because being pregnant is kind of like, I think they do consider it like a wound in a way. Don't quote me on that, but it's like you can't like if you're pregnant, there's a lot of things you can't do. Like you can't get a tattoo. A lot of people might not like do hair things like perms or colors, and yeah, probably other things, but I don't know why I'm going on these weird tangents. Um, but yeah, I kind of had to kind of go inward, and even though I really didn't want to like be alone or like isolate more than I'm already isolated, I was like, I really need to like focus on me right now because there's like all these things going on around me, and I'm the kind of person where it's like if there's an obvious problem that doesn't include me, if there's an obvious problem, then I will point it out and I will see the solution, and um I'll try to fix it, which my mom thinks is me telling her that she's stupid, which is not, that's not what I'm doing, but that's what she thinks. But I was losing a lot of my energy because I couldn't fathom like why certain things weren't happening or why people weren't doing certain things or a whole bunch of stuff, and I lost my train of thought. I think I don't know, it's a weird thing because I don't want to be like annoying and nagging or just like questioning why people do what they do or why they don't do what they do. I'm really losing my train of thought after like every sentence I say. Okay, well, realistically, I don't think certain people are going to see this, and I'm not really going to say their name or like anything, but if they see it and there could be a chance that they recognize like themselves. But yeah, anyways, so I had a situationship like probably over half a year ago now, and it ended up with me blocking them. Um, that's a whole other story. I actually filmed a video where I ranted about it for like an hour and a half. And then I realized that that wasn't something that I really wanted to put on the internet, because it was me just basically saying the same thing over and over again and just being like really mad about the whole thing when it's just like I would just like to get over it. But the thing is that even though it had been so long ago and I'm the one who chose to like cut communication, um, I he like a he didn't do this, but it felt like he paid an Etsy witch to curse me because it felt like psychological warfare. Because I literally could not stop thinking about him, even though I didn't want to think about him. And also, I cut contact, so then it's kind of a weird thing to like unblock someone and be like, hey, I know that I blocked you, but do you want to like get talk or hang out? Like, no, at least I'm not gonna do that. But probably like a few months ago, I ended up unblocking him because in my mind, I'm like, something's gonna happen. I don't know why I convince myself of these things, but I guess technically, eventually, something did happen. I just thought that maybe the moment I unblocked him, something was gonna happen, and it didn't. But then, basically, we got back into contact, but obviously, it's a lot different, and I was having a really hard time um, kind of dealing with that situation because it was confusing for me because of like things that we had talked about in the past. Because he had someone else block him. I don't know what their relationship was. I just knew that he did something and a lot of people ended up blocking him, and I yeah. And then that person, one of the people unblocked him, and then he said that like she's a nice person, but the friendship's kind of like ruined. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And so I fully did not think I would ever hear from him ever again, regardless if I blocked him or unblocked him. I was like, I'm fairly certain I burned that bridge, and I was having a really hard time like dealing with that, even though I made that decision for a reason. And yeah, but I was really confused because he was actually the one that reached out to me. And the place that I blocked him, you have to like physically check to see if you're unblocked. Like you'd have to be checking. And I had a rule with myself that I cannot be the one that reaches out first. Like I cannot do that to myself again. Um, but yeah, he reached out. It was kind of weird because it was basically just like surface level interaction, and I personally really hate surface level interaction. I don't like small talk. I don't like pleasantries. If I see someone and that I maybe know, I might smile at them and say hi, and then just walk past. I'm not trying to have a conversation. I'm sorry. Or a lot of the time, if I see someone, I honestly kind of pretend that I don't see them if they're not like a good friend or whatever. And some people might think that's rude, and it probably is, but at the end of the day, I have a limited social battery and I cannot be talking to random people. But losing my train of thought again. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Well, it's probably because I didn't sleep. right. But I was kind of like half expecting things to go back to the way they were before, which wouldn't have been good because then it would just start the whole cycle of like codependency again, and I cannot live through that again. I cannot deal with codependency or like limerence, even though I know now that it was it was a little bit of like limerence, or just like favorite person type sheet. But I actually did and still do have actual feelings for him, which I hate, but anyways. But they didn't, and because I didn't want to like rub salt in the wound, like my own wound, I didn't really want to like reach out to him or ask him like to do stuff or whatever. I did eventually ask him like, do you want to talk about what happened? Because like I wanted to have that conversation. And he was like, I don't know if I want to, slash, don't know how to go about it. And I'm like, bet we don't have to. And then he doubled back or whatever. And he was like, well, but we can if you want or think we need to. I'm like, nah, it's fine. And yeah, I think it's been annoying for me, even though like it's all my own doing basically, in some way at least. And I don't know, I just finally realizing and coming to terms that whatever I hoped that would happen between us, or it was probably never going to happen. And that I'm also just like not that important to him. Because even though he was very avoidant with his emotions when we were like really close, I still felt like important to him in some way. And then now it's just like I was like really struggling with like feeling like I wasn't really important to a lot of people. And I know that that's not true, but my brain is like really mean. So, and really convincing. So I was like, damn, no one likes me. They just put up with me. No one wants to spend time with me. And yeah, so that happened during this past week and the weekend, the previous weekend. Um, and yeah, I was just like, it doesn't matter like actually what happens between him and I think I will still continue to feel the way that I feel about the whole thing. And that's not great. So I feel more at peace with it now. I think like I really just have to move on from it. And I know that a lot of the times when I have these like really strong feelings about him these days, it's less about my feelings for him and like my feelings about just like my life. Something that I've learned is that a lot of the time when I kind of like seem to like search for like specifically a romantic connection, even though I feel very like aromantic and asexual, but there's always exceptions. Um, I think I seem to search for it because of like feeling unloved and supported as a child. And for whatever reason, my brain thinks that romantic love is gonna, I don't know, save me or something. I really don't know. It's just like I've had unmet needs for a really long time. Not weird needs, like basic human needs. Don't get any weird ideas. um, but yeah. And even now, it's just like I still feel like I don't really have those needs met, but I'm really at a loss for how to meet them, especially when I just feel like absolute dookie most of the time. And because I just like struggle with socializing, so like making new friends isn't really ideal, at least at this moment in time. Because I did try that actually, and didn't end very well. Well, again, it's my own fault. And realistically, it's not that it like nothing necessarily super bad happened. I just kind of like distanced myself because I felt like kind of uncomfortable and not wasn't really having a great time. Um, and I'm still like kind of bad about like speaking up about things, but at the same time, it's like if you realize you don't like people, like, do you tell them? Because I feel like that's really unnecessary. And it's not like I knew them for a long time. I think maybe if it's someone that you've known for a while, it might be a good idea. I don't know. I don't have health. Don't have healthy relationship habits, so maybe don't listen to me. But yeah, it takes me a long time to process a lot of things. So sometimes it takes me a long time to be like, actually, I don't think I really like you, and I don't really want to hang out with you. So my bad. And then also just like feeling kind of frustrated with family, and I'm not gonna really go into that because that's like private stuff. Like I don't mind talking about my shit, but I don't want to kind of put all that into the world. I will say that my family life is a bit strange. I Yeah, I think that's all I really want to say. But basically, there's stuff happening there where it's like I really wish certain things could change, and I always kind of seem to try to like nudge it in the right direction, because even though I tell myself that I don't care or whatever, I realize that I keep doing these things because a part of me still has hope that things could be different. And yeah, the thing about well, like me, if there's a 1% chance, at least it's 1% and not zero. Yeah, I definitely feel a lot better though. And I feel like now I can actually work on things instead of just crocheting and crying. I'm still crocheting, but I'm not crying, and I'm doing other things. So, and I have other ideas that I of things that I want to do and stuff. So, I think that's great too. Um, one thing is that it's currently a novel writing month, which, if you ever participated in that, it's just like every November, it's a challenge to write 50,000 words. I have done it 2 or 3 times. I've completed it twice, for sure. I think I started a third time and I could not finish it because it was like a really shit time in my life, and I couldn't. I wasn't really sleeping, and I was feeling really uninspired and unmotivated, and just like really unhappy. So I just like could not write, and I feel like that was the last time I actually really wrote for a while. That was like when I was a teenager, and then I basically had not written since. I tried here and there, but it didn't feel good, and I didn't want to like make it worse, because I know sometimes it's like forcing yourself to do certain things can be good, but I think when it comes to like creativity, it can actually just like make it so much freaking worse. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and I've managed to write every day at least like 1,400 words. There's some days where I wrote a lot more, so that's cool. I'm actually having a lot of fun doing it, and I am kind of looking forward to writing other stuff after this. And yeah, because I loved writing when I was younger. I also liked reading, even though it was really hard for me to focus. But if I hit a hyper focus, I could read like a novel in like a weekend. It was just like trying to reach that thing, because I would in school I would read, and I'd be like, "Am I reading too slow?" And then I would be like, "The clock is ticking. How far is that person?" And then I'm like, "Oh no, I need to focus on what I'm reading." And then I would like skim over it really fast and like barely retain any information or gather any information from it. And yeah, and then also because like some people would play really loud music, I learned to like drown out other sounds so that I could read. And yeah, but one thing that I think about sometimes, or like I get reminded of, because sometimes when you see like a psychiatrist or whatever, they're like, "Well, did you have any problems in school?" And I'm like, "Well, no." Um, but I think I was pretty good at pretending like I knew what I was doing. Or I would literally like keep doing something until it made sense. And or at least make sense enough that I could do it. But I do remember that when it came to like reading, um, because I wasn't very good at like context or like foreshadowing and reading between the lines, that didn't make sense to me. So my mom would read every book that I had to read for school, and then she would tell me everything I needed to know. And I don't think that's I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a good thing. And as an adult, I haven't read for a while because I can't focus and it puts me to sleep. But when I would have to fill out like forms for like literally anything, I would get like really panicky because I'm like, what if I don't know what it means? What if I don't know what they're asking me? It's like, girl, they're asking you for your fucking address. Like, it's not that serious. But yeah. Anyways, I think I'm good. Yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you on the flip side.